And he took it personally when he put that uniform and badge on.
We are saying goodbye to a fallen hero. Thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Reyna.
And I'm Nikel Williams. It's a somber day here in our area, North Alabama, as we say goodbye to a hero who gave his life to protect others.
People taking time out of their day to line the streets for Sergeant Nick Risner's funeral procession. That procession lasting 30 minutes with hundreds of cars. For the final time, the officer rode through streets he died protecting.
Oh, his laugh is everything. Everybody knew who he was as soon as he came in.
We hear from members of the community today, remembering the light Sergeant Risner brought to those around him and how they'll never forget the sacrifice he made. Here at Way 31, today marks a week of being in the Shoals and learning about the incredible impact Sergeant Risner had on those around him.
We have team coverage today after hearing from you on the day of his funeral. Our Way 31 reporters join us along the route of Sergeant Risner's funeral procession. We want to hand over our coverage to Way 31 anchor Marie Waxel. She's been out in the Shoals all day. Marie.
The community really in mourning, as they've been for a week now, remembering the life of an officer that they love so dearly and so much. Many of them finding it hard to find the right words to adequately describe what he meant to them. And we've heard stories all week long, and we could really continue to tell these stories weeks and months from now, just on how appreciated he was and what a staple he was, not just to Sheffield, not just to law enforcement, but to people of all walks of life, no matter who you were, where you were from. Sergeant Nick Risner, he would smile at you and he'd make you feel darn good about yourself, and you better believe he was going to make you feel better and leave you better than what he found you. Really an incredible service, an incredible procession for a man who was loved by so many people, as he would have done had the roles been reversed for anyone, and as he has done for so many other people, here to wrap their arms around his wife, his daughter, and the rest of his family that he leaves behind as they learn to move forward, and of course his fellow officers in the Sheffield Police Department. I want to go ahead and bring in Way 31's Brecken Terry with us tonight. Brecken, you've been instrumental in sharing how the police department, how Sheffield Police Department has really been handling such a tough loss, such a tragic loss. And you know, they made it very clear today, talking about his fellow officers, they wanted to talk about Nick. They wanted to keep the focus on Nick. But you know, we can't forget about their sacrifices as well.
Absolutely. And you know, Max Dotson was one of the officers that was shot as well. Thankfully, that bulletproof vest stopped 2 bullets from going in just above his heart. Now, Max and Ray Terry and Nick, they were thick as thieves. They were always together, and they were the epitome of law enforcement best friends and best friends outside of law enforcement. And one incredible thing I want to talk about is, you know, Ray Terry, who's a Sheffield police officer, he has been with Nick's family throughout this entire ordeal. He has not left Brandy or Allie's side at this point. And then Max Dotson, he planned this entire thing. And for both of those men to get up there and speak about their best friend took an incredible amount of strength. And you know, Max has really been leaning on his family. He and his wife have a brand new baby at home. And so you can imagine her getting that phone call and getting these phone calls last Friday, but to see those 2 guys step up for their best friend has truly been incredible, and it's a real testament to the type of friendship and bond that those 3 had. And here's what Max had to say during Sergeant Risner's funeral.
I would put Sergeant Nick Risner against any police sergeant in the state of Alabama and anywhere across the country. By his professionalism, his constant training, and the mentor he was to other police officers.
And another thing to point out is that Max and Nick have known each other for years. I mean, they go back. So they're really more like brothers than anything else. So it's important to remember Max and his family right now as they move forward and deal with this loss too, Marie.
All right, everyone hurting for everyone involved. And really, this is something that it's not over tonight. You know, we keep stressing that. It's not over tonight. It's not over tomorrow. This is something that's going to take time, and it's still going to be very painful. A week from now, a month from now, a year from now, especially for those who he was very, very close with, like Officer Terry and Officer Dotson there. That procession, though, wow,
Yeah.
what a beautiful sight. We saw it Monday, and of course, we only knew to expect the very best today. And did Sergeant Nick Risner and his family and the Sheffield Police Department get the very best as they gave him one last ride through the streets of his hometown, through Florence, to his final resting place. I want to go ahead and toss things over to Wave 31's Olivia Schuler, who was along that procession route this afternoon for us. Olivia?
I've been at the Church of Christ in Florence all morning and afternoon, and less than an hour ago that procession ended. But you know, if you're just joining our coverage, I want you to know just how beautiful and special that it was. Earlier this afternoon, this parking lot behind me was just completely filled with cars, motorcycles, flags, police flags, kids, adults. It really was a moment for the community to come here all together. And like I said, it was truly something special to see. One of the people I talked to, 11-year-old Maddox, he had such a love for Sergeant Risner, his dad, an investigator at one of the law enforcement agencies here in North Alabama. He says he just loved not only Sergeant Risner, but everything he stood for, helping the community, you know, serving his community, doing everything that he did. I want you to take a listen real quick at a quick little thing that he said to me real quick.
Yes, I like to show respect to him.
Maddox was a young man of very few words, but his love for Sergeant Risner truly showed when I spoke to him and his mom. And when I asked him what he wants to be when he grows up, he said a police officer. Maureen, back to you.
Absolutely love the people of North Alabama, and I'm not surprised at all when we started getting alerts of people who have already set up ways to donate to the Risner family, to the Sheffield Police Department, benefits as early as tomorrow, some later in the month. You know, they have that GoFundMe page that is made it so easy for so many of you at home to donate to the Risner family. In fact, you guys have graciously donated more than $30,000 in such a short amount of time. There's also a Good Samaritan Fund that the Sheffield Police Department set up at all bank independent locations. You just tell them that you wanted to donate in honor of Sergeant Nick Risner with the Sheffield Police Department, and they will make sure that that money goes to the Risner family and into that Good Samaritan Fund. Also, let's not forget his right-hand gal, so to speak, his canine Whiska. All of you concerned, knowing what a tough loss that's going to be for his dog, who spent all the time with him. You guys giving out of the kindness of your hearts donations to dog food, toys, money for vet bills in case she needs anything, to make sure that even his canine, who he loves so much, was taken care of, because yes, she was just as much as part of the family as his wife, daughter, brothers, nieces, nephews, parents that he all leaves behind. You know, when we saw that procession leave here, from where we're standing, you could see the lights in the middle of the day just light up the afternoon sky, bright blue. You could hear some of the horns going off. You could hear some of the sirens going off to let everyone know, hey, we are coming. We are bringing this hero home one last time. And our Wave 31's Brittany Harry was right there as that procession started. Let's get to her and hear what she said and what she got to see from her vantage point. Brittany.
And well, we are outside of Faith Church right now, of course, where Sergeant Risner's funeral was held. And it's a quiet, almost empty parking lot now, but that was not the case about an hour ago when multiple law enforcement officers and really just different law enforcement and officers from several different communities were out here honoring Sergeant Risner and also paying respects to his family too. We're going to actually show you some video of officers that you'll see that were making their way here for the visitation, where you can just see just the amount of people that showed up. And we're talking not just local officers here in this area, but also officers that came from as far as from New York and Nashville. They were here too, and Florida. Some police officers came from Florida as well. But I also spoke with several officers out here today who say, you know, days like this are extremely tough. They say that the law enforcement community is one that truly sticks together, and a lot of canine officers were here as well. Of course, as we know, Sergeant Risner was one with his canine Whiska, who we're definitely thinking about right now as well too. But a lot of the officers said that law enforcement's close, but the K-9 community is extremely close as well. I actually spoke with a Mountain Brook police officer who says that, you know, when he heard about Sergeant Risner's passing, he was devastated.
Not another one. That's my first thought, was not another one. Yeah, because I've been to several of these, and unfortunately, that's just, we know every day we go to work it could be our last day. So that's why I have nothing but respect for everybody who puts on the badge and does this for a living.
And we've heard a lot of people in the community saying that this week too is people in the community come together as well to honor Sergeant Risner and to pay their respects to his family. Marie, back to you.
And it's no secret Sergeant Risner's service to his community didn't end when he clocked out, and it didn't start when he put the vest on and his badge on. It was something that he lived and believed in and breathed every single day, serving his community, whether he was on the clock, off the clock, whether he was eating lunch, on break, it didn't matter. He was always there to help. In fact, you know, one of the most popular stories that we've heard come out of this was how he saved the life of Emma Gregory, who has shared this story and their interaction for years about their friendship and how it all started when he saw her when he got off early of shift one night and saw her, thought that she may have needed help, and he ended up being the light that she needed, which stopped her from taking her own life. And through him and their friendship, she has now dedicated her life to serving others. Really is a testament, shows just what kind of person he is, and then the kind of legacy that he leaves, and the fire and the inspiration that he leaves in others, that he impacts, that he encountered, and that he made friends with throughout the years across the shoals, no matter where he was. Let's go ahead and check in now with Way 31's Nicole Zedek, who's there outside that cemetery. Again, a very private service for family and friends this afternoon, but Nicole was there as that procession started to end.
Marie, I'm at the entrance to the cemetery where Sergeant Risner is being laid to rest. Now, this is also where the procession ended. All of the cars came right down this road where this car is coming now, and they turned into the cemetery right here. And that's where a private service is being held right now for family members, close friends, and of course all the other officers that served alongside Sergeant Risner. Now, during that ceremony today, Huntsville Police Department was tasked with the honor of giving the rifle salute, and I just heard that go off about 10 minutes ago. It really is a great honor, something they hope to never have to be a part of, but nonetheless, they feel very happy to be a part of that, to be able to honor Sergeant Risner in that way. I spoke with one of the members of Huntsville Police Department's Honor Guard about the emotions that he'll be feeling as he gives that salute, and this is what he had to say.
You know, our hearts break, and we all have families, and we know he's not going home to his. And, you know, like I said, when we come out here, this is what we're doing to show our support.
It's obviously an emotional day for law enforcement officials all across the country, all across the state, but specifically for those in North Alabama, as all of the departments worked so closely alongside together. They're all like family, so for Huntsville Police Department to be a part of this, it really meant a lot to them. Back to you, Marie.
I'm just trying to get... You have to smile. We've got one of the officer helicopters flying over as they are just doing their final passover, as they have the graveside service for the entire Shoals area to understand whether they were serving here on the ground or in the air. They were keeping his legacy alive. You know, despite the fact that we said goodbye to him today, he is never going to truly leave us. As so many of you at home have stories to share, they will continue to share his good works and continue to memorialize him in the ways that you feel is appropriate. I want to go ahead and bring in Way 31's Brecken Terry. Brecken, Shoals is your area. You know these people out here better than anyone. You have seen these memorials that are in place this week. They wasted no time lighting their front yards.
No, and it's one of those things that makes me so proud to serve this area and to know all of these people. I've seen more children wearing police officer uniforms this week than I have on any Halloween night. Everyone wearing blue and continuing to wear blue, not just on Monday, but on, you know, every day this week. And people were coming up to me out in the community saying, hey, let me tell you about Nick. You know, let me tell you what he did for me. And seeing, I was up at Sheffield Police Department. Every day that I was there, 5 or 6 classrooms of kids coming by to drop them off notes, to give them goodies, and just to tell them thank you and we're so sorry that you're going through this. And even Train Bridge, down over from that connects Sheffield over into Florence, their lights are blue, and that is a difficult task to get up on Train Bridge and to turn all of those lights blue. So everyone here has blue lights. It's incredible to see when you're driving through these areas and to see that support. It goes farther than words. People are taking actions.
Taking action. And how do you keep his legacy alive? We're going to tell you how you keep his legacy alive. You do exactly what Nick did for so many of us. You spread kindness. You show people that doesn't matter who they are, that you love them and you are there for them and that they matter. And you say those 3 little words and you mean it, and you can't overuse it. We heard it today and we will continue to hear it. I love you. Tell someone that they matter and spread a little kindness and a little joy to someone that you love each and every day in his name, so his legacy lives on.
Absolutely.
Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Marie. Really beautiful reporting out there.
Thank you, Marie. And if you want to continue to show support for Sergeant Risner and his family, there will also be a benefit concert for Sergeant Risner next week. It's scheduled for Tuesday from 7:30 to 9 at the Riverfront Park in Sheffield. That concert is free. Donations are encouraged.
One youth baseball program in the Shoals is showing their appreciation for Sergeant Risner at an upcoming tournament. It'll be on the fields where he once coached his daughter. Later this month, the Underwood youth baseball team is hoping to see a swarm of blue during what will now be the official first annual Sergeant Nick Risner Memorial Tournament. The tournament is October 23rd at the Underwood Fields in Florence. You're asked, again, wear blue if you attend. All the proceeds from the tournament that day will go to the Risner family. Thank you so much for following Sergeant Risner's journey with us.
We'll be sure to keep you updated as we learn more about new ways you can honor his sacrifice. Stick with us here on Way 31 as we continue our coverage this half hour.